All right, so I'm caught in an awkward position, man, because I told myself I was going to do a pre-draft show. And I did it. But in the process of making all the nice, cute looking graphics and all of that good stuff to make it look good, turns out the draft wasn't 7 p.m. Central. It was 7 p.m. Eastern time. Nevertheless, the audio portion was done at 3:30. You know, you'll hear it in the audio. You guys just going to take my word for it. So, as I sit here, I am combining the pre-show with the post-show. And basically reacting off of what I said about the draft before the draft picks were made. What I said, what they were going to pick and what they actually pick. And I'm going to do 5 picks at a time. And I'm just going to react off 5 picks at a time. There were 30 first round picks. So we're going to do it like that. And so, you know, piece by piece. Of course, the number 1 pick was pretty obvious, you know. It was pretty obvious. DeAndre Ayton was going to be that pick. But, you know, everything after that, we're going to react from it. So, let's go ahead and play the audio. I'm going to play the audio of what I thought each pick was. And then once I'm done with that, then react from it. All right? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the monstrosity and how much I fucked up on a lot of these picks. Hey, I was genius on a few of these, man. Well, very few, but I was genius on a few of these. By the way, let me start by saying this. This podcast is sponsored by Matic Fitness. If you're a kid, if you're grown up, middle school, high school, you need to get your skills right, go check out my bro, Matic Fitness. Professional training, NFL level type training. He gets inspired for all NFL guys, pro guys, even semi-pro guys, man. He has lots of different techniques for all ages. Go check it out. The information is right there. Go check him out. Matic SAQ, and go like and subscribe to Matic SAQ on Facebook. Go look at the different videos, the different things that he does, man. And there are also schedules for workout, man. Go check him out. Go out there, break a sweat. Even if you're not even an athlete, you might just want to get fit. You want to look good for the summer. Go check it out. Matic SAQ. The Phoenix Suns, who have the number 1 pick. This is pretty obvious. They're going to go center, even though they got 9 of them already. They got Tyson Chandler. They got Dragan Bender. They got Marquise Chris, who you can argue is a power forward. They're going to go DeAndre Ayton. And this is a no-brainer because, to me, he is the best person in the draft. He is the best player in the draft. And I rated him the highest. I think I did. Yeah, I think I rated him in the 93. Of course, I haven't been doing these rankings a long time, but 93 is a really, really good fucking grade. No shit. So they're going to go obvious. They're going to go DeAndre Ayton, the center out of Arizona. I really do feel like this is a really, really good pick. Everybody thought it was Luka Doncic, but Phoenix also has the number 16 pick. A lot of people aren't high on Luka Doncic, including myself. I graded him at 83. I feel, and this, you can say that I'm kind of biased when it comes to these international players. Like, you look at them and you're like, well, he looks good. But then, you know, those are freaking, look at who he's playing against. You know, you got to kind of ask yourself, okay, will he get that wide open in the NBA? Will he get that same look? Will he get that same defense in the NBA? You know, Andrea Bargnani was a good shooter. To be quite honest, he did okay in the NBA. I think he was ahead of his time. To be quite honest, Andrea Bargnani to me was ahead of his time. He was a stretch four before I guess Dirk was already out. He was a stretch four before the stretch four was very popular. Right now, if Bargnani was in the draft, he would go number 1, no question. Because Bargnani, he was 7 feet and he could shoot. I know y'all heard it clicking. I'm pulling up different grades so I can know what the fuck I'm talking about. But you look at the style of player that's coming into the NBA. Milo Teodosic. Well, he's a point guard, so I guess it's different. He comes here and he was way overhyped. The only player I think that was hyped, he was hyped, but he was as advertised as Ricky Rubio. I like Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio is exactly what I thought he was going to be. Everybody thought he was, some people say he was the next Magic Johnson or the international Magic Johnson. Everybody says that about that. They said Brian Caboclo was the Brazilian Kevin Durant. And he just got traded not too long ago. So, yeah. Be careful what you say about some of these international players, man. Me personally, I don't. You gotta do something more than that, man. So I'm not as high on Luka Doncic as everybody else is. I'm not. The guy is good, but he ain't that damn good. So Phoenix, I feel like they're gonna go get DeAndre Ayton with the first pick. Number 2 is interesting because everybody's saying Marvin Bagley. The Kings, I think they go with Michael Porter Jr. out of Missouri. You look at that team, and I love the makeup of this team. The Aaron Fox, you got Sky Labissiere. Sky Labissiere played for the Grizzlies. You got Willie Cauley-Stein. You got a good mixture of veterans. Vince Carter, who is actually a free agent, who is going to be a free agent. I can see him going back because his veteran presence is much needed on that team. They need a wing guy. They need a young wing guy to go with De'Aaron Fox. They can have that 1-2 punch on offense, man. Michael Porter Jr. will be very, very perfect for that team. Now, of course, barring any injury setback, because at first I wasn't even going to put him there. Some people see Michael Porter as a 4, a small 4, and a big 3. I think he's more suited as a 3 because, I don't know, he has this kind of, he has this Boris Diaw kind of thing going. He has this Nicholas Batum type of thing going. You know what I'm saying? And Nicholas Batum is a 3 with the size of a 4. That's Michael Porter Jr. And I'm not saying Michael Porter is Nicholas Batum because Nicholas Batum can play defense. And he's versatile. But I feel like Michael Porter Jr. would be perfect for this Kings team. He's a wing. He can score. He can do just enough on the other end. I don't think they need much defensive help because I think that team plays pretty decent team defense as a whole. The problem with the Kings is that, they have the Lakers. They have the Clippers. They got, who else is in that division? Golden State. I mean, look at the division they're in. You know what I'm saying? It's top heavy as fuck. So, of course, they're going to have a fucked up record when you have, you play those guys, that's 12, that's almost 20% of your games right there. So, Michael Porter Jr. will kind of, Vlade Divac, I think he's doing a damn good job in drafting and acquiring young guys and building, a good foundation for that team. And Michael Porter Jr. will be great. I mean, even if they pick Marvin Bagley, it's still a step in the right direction. Number 3, the Atlanta Hawks. If the Kings get Michael Porter Jr., you have to get Marvin Bagley. There's no question you got to get Marvin Bagley. If I'm the Hawks and the Kings get Michael Porter Jr., I'm like, well, shit. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't turn in the card quick enough. Matter of fact, soon as Adam Silver says, with the second pick of the NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select Atlanta's already got Marvin Bagley in hand as soon as Porter Jr. is already on stage. They turned in the card already. No need to even wait on it. And if you look at that team, Michael Porter Jr. would be perfect. They got John Collins and Marvin Bagley, who is actually a very versatile player as well. Reminds me a little kind of sort of Jabari Parker. Very good addition for that team. You got Dennis Schroeder. You got Kent Bazemore, veteran. You got John Collins, who I like. And I hope they retain Mike Muscala, who I think is he's on an expired contract. They got to bring him back. You got Marvin Bagley, John Collins in the front court. I like that shit. Perfect pick for the Atlanta Hawks. And if you know the perfect situation of Marvin Bagley falling into their laps, because otherwise, then they'll be hanging in the balance of should they pick Michael Porter Jr. If the Kings pick if the Kings pick Marvin Bagley, I see the Hawks trading down because that was their guy. So you heard it here first. If the Kings pick Marvin Bagley, the Hawks will slide back. Number 4, the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they reach a bit if they do not trade. 3, 4, and 5 to me are the picks that most likely will be traded. For me, I know 2 of those for sure, but I think, yeah, I'm going ahead and say it. There will be 2 trades in the top 5 or involved in the top 5 picks. Number 1, I say no. Number 2, I will say no as well. 3, 4, and 5, 2 of those picks will be traded. I guarantee that. 3 is a possibility, but 2 of them for sure involving the Grizzlies and the Mavericks are the most likely. The Hawks only if the Kings get Marvin Bagley. So number 4, and like I said in the beginning, this is if everybody stays put. If the Kings stay put, I think they go wing and go Michael Bridges out of Villanova. I think they want to, the Chandler Parsons experiment is over. It should have been over. I don't know what the hell happened to Chandler Parsons once he left Houston. He went to the Mavericks, and all of a sudden he just turned into Chandler from Friends. But they just need to go ahead and just be like, it's the writing's on the wall. I know Marc Gasol, I still feels like he's a really good, player. They should just go ahead and unload everybody, acquire some picks, rebuild. So Michael Bridges, I think he's a good addition for the Grizzlies. Go young. You got Dylan Brooks. Mike Conley, I still think he can be a productive. He's a good veteran. He can bring along these guys, put them in the right direction. I think you should trade Marc Gasol, bring up Skylar Bessiere. And as I'm thinking about this, that guy, does he play for the Kings? Skylar Bessiere is the Kings. I think he plays for the Kings. All right, so my brain is scrambled. It's Deontay Davis who plays for the Grizzlies. I keep getting them 2 mixed up. So you bring up those young guys like Deontay Davis and Jarrell Martin, JaMychal Green. You bring those guys up, unload Marc Gasol, and just start over. And then you draft Mikal or Michael Bridges. Number 5, and I'm a Mavericks fan, Dallas Mavericks. You gotta go Mo Bamba. I don't know why you want to get cute right here. You go Mo Bamba. We haven't had a good center that has played on our team more than 2 years since, say what you want. Sean Bradley was a good fucking center. Say what you want about him getting dunked on. Sean Bradley was a good defensive center. Then he's 7'6". I think if you 7'6", you're supposed to average 28 rebounds a game. But this dude was blocking shots. Go look it up. Count how many seasons he had seasons of more than 3 blocks a game. It was more than Serge Ibaka. And I kid you not, everybody thought Serge Ibaka was the next Mutombo. Say I'm not lying. Go back. But if at number 5, my Mavericks, come on, Mark Cuban, do not get cute. Mo Bamba. And just to go back, if we were to trade this, and back what I was saying, we pick players for other teams. If we pick Trae Young, we're not keeping Trae Young. I would love Trae Young on my team. I would love Trae Young on the Mavericks because now you have Dennis Smith Jr. Trae Young is a capable enough shooter to spot up. And now you have a 2-headed monster, almost like John Wall and Bradley Beal. Now, Bradley Beal is a much, 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 much better shooter than Trae Young. And, of course, Dennis Smith can't shoot at all. Teams aren't scared to run that combo guard. even, this was back when Golden State had Monte Ellis and Baron Davis. It could work. Get you a slasher, get you a quote unquote shooter or a distributor. It could work. If Mavericks get Trae Young, I think we trade that pick. But if we're staying put, we need to go Mo Bamba out of Texas. There's a no-brainer. We tried Nerlens Noel, which I swear to G, man, it pissed me off. The trade itself didn't piss me off. It was just the fact that we can never get a center that works. And this also allows us to not look stupid in free agency. Because if we pass on Mo Bamba and in free agency, we're like, well, we're going to get DeAndre Jordan. He's finally going to come, man. He owe us. Nobody owes us shit. Get our center without thinking nobody's going to come here. Get our center. That way, it'll show everybody else that regardless of the fact that if we don't get a center in free agency, we got our young center of the future. So get Mo Bamba. It is a no-brainer. Yeah, man. Those were 1 through 5, and as expected, as you can see with my mock draft to the left and how they ended up on the right, as expected. When I told you, if Sacramento goes Marvin Bagley, Atlanta would trade down, and that's exactly what happened. And it also, as predicted, they ended up picking the pick for the Mavericks. Or, like I said, teams will pick players for other teams to trade with. Mavericks wanted Luka Doncic. Atlanta picked Luka Doncic for them. They wanted Trae Young, so the Mavericks picked Trae Young. And of course, the way for this all to fit, Grizzlies had to agree to pick Jaren Jackson. And that's exactly how the top 5 rounded out. Ayton, Bagley, Doncic, Jaren Jackson, and Trae Young. To be quite honest, I was obviously surprised that Luka Doncic got selected so high. I had him number 16, only because I was thinking that he didn't want to play for any other team. But, leading, minutes before, hour before, of course, I kind of thought it was agent talk where he just kind of expressed in playing wherever he goes. And to be quite honest, I wasn't happy with the fact that he wanted to play here, only because of that reason. And another reason was, when you look at the videos I was watching with Luka Doncic, is, by the way, if I did this audio, because this is the very next day after the draft, if I would have did this right after the pick, I'd probably be cussing right now. But since it is what it is, went back and I watched him against I forgot what that team was in there. Whatever, that team that had Ricky Lito on that. He dropped 27 points. But I wasn't looking at the 27 points. I was looking at the fact that how he moves, how he how he plays. And then listening to 105.3 Fan, which is a really good source if you're a Mavericks fan. Really, really good source. They got, hosts that are really dialed into the Mavericks. He listens to rap music. He's with the culture. And I ain't talking about culture like, urban culture. I mean, like, the way he plays, he's not stiff. He's not no robot like other European players, fundamentally sound all the way. He is fundamentally sound, but he got a little step back to him. He got a little crossover to him. He got a little ISO action with him, you know what I'm saying? And he can play off the ball. And, after watching a couple more games with Luka Doncic, I still don't grade him, really, really high, because I don't think that, he shoots as good as people say he does. He has that good mid-range jumper off the dribble, off the elbow, but for you to be, hype like that at number 3, man, you got to hit 3-pointers at a 40% average, 38% average. He shot 30% from the 3-point line. So, and he's not fast enough to get to the hole like that. Some people compare him to Manu Ginobili. Ginobili was just crafty. It's going to take him a couple years to get to that type of craftiness. And you're going to see a lot of turnovers with this guy. But, I guess it is what it is. They picked him. They traded for him. So I can't really poo-poo it too much, man. I just got to live with it. and think of it as half glass half full right now. So, and I guess, just knowing Rick, Trae Young wouldn't be a great fit for Rick. Otherwise, we'll be having, Rick likes a structured offense. I mean, he lets the guys, free or whatever do, but, you look at a guy like Burrell, you look at a guy like Devin Harris, Dennis Smith, Trae Young, he just kind of, does what he wants. That's why Rondo, as good as Rondo is, Rondo runs his own show. Trae Young runs his own show. And, with him being Atlanta, that's perfect for him. I don't think Trae Young would be perfect for, the Mavericks. Trae Young would have been good if Avery Johnson was here. Matter of fact, I take that back. Trae Young would have been good if Don Nelson was here. He'll be perfect, because that's what Don Nelson likes. That's not what Rick likes. So any Mavericks fan that's looking like, Trae Young, we fucked up on Trae Young, that's not Rick's style. You know what I'm saying? He just don't come down and just, pop threes left and right. You gotta have some kind of structure. You gotta some kind of slow down, a little bit of mix of everything. You know what I'm saying? And so Luka, I guess in that regards, it makes sense. Jaren Jackson to Memphis, man. I kind of thought they was going to go Mikal Bridges, but they went Jaren Jackson Jr. They went with a big, and that's kind of interesting because, during the draft, I've been hearing they want. Well, of course they want to shop Chandler Parsons, but that might be the end of Chandler Parsons. But they got JaMychal Green. They got Jarrell Martin. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that. So I think that move right there might be, a sign to come in regards to those guys. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got a logjam at power forward over there at Memphis. So that's very interesting. Of course, Sacramento, man, going with Marvin Bagley. I just think that's a no-brainer. I don't know why I reached for Michael Porter Jr., who we'll talk about in a minute. But Sacramento went with the right guy. They went with a very safe pick. They went with a really good pick in Marvin Bagley. He can play the 4, he can play the 3. They might put him at the 4 right next to Willie Cauley-Stein. And by the way, Skylar Bissiere does play for the Kings. So let me go ahead and get that fixed. So there goes your top 5 right there. You got DeAndre Ayton at number 1, Marvin Bagley III at Sacramento, Luka Doncic, Jaren Jackson Jr., Trae Young, all ran up the top 5. And I guess technically I had it right. 2 trades in the top 5, but 2 teams, hey, so I got it right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 6 through 10 picks. Moves us to number 6 with Orlando. And they're looking like, well, fuck yeah. Now we go get Trae Young. Orlando and Trae Young is perfect. You trade away Elfrid Payton, which I thought was a stupid move. But then, if your reason was we're not going to give him max money, I get it. You're not going to give him 4. I think it's 4 for 58, some shit like that. 4 for 50, 4 for 55, or something like that. You go get Trae Young, give you a whole nother 4 years of control of a player. It makes sense. You look at that team. Aaron Gordon is going to be a restricted free agent soon. So you got to do something with him. You got Vucevic. You got Jonathan Isaac. You got a nice foundation going for you. But I think you should have kept Elfrid Payton though. I think that was one of the big mistakes. But this is a good band-aid for the mistake though. You go get Trae Young. Now your team is exciting. Now Orlando is exciting now. Jonathan Isaac and Trae Young to go with Vucevic, who has developed a really nice 3-point shot, by the way. You fucked up with Hazonia, get Trae Young. It's a no-brainer. Number 7, we got the Chicago Bulls. I think they should go after Jaren Jackson of Michigan State. That team who had, Nikola Mirotic, they traded him to New Orleans for a bag of hot Cheetos and some Six Flag tickets. You have a nice young core with Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn. Your front court, I feel like it's good, but you bring in Jaren Jackson, it just creates a whole new dynamic on that front court. Rolo, he's a really good rebounder, but he's lethargic looking. I guess in today's NBA, because now the center is the new power forward. The power forward is the new 3-4. The three guard, the 3 forward is the 3. The 2 is really the combo. The 1 is, you know what I'm saying? The center position are gonna look more like Bobby Portis from now on, unless you're a unicorn like Embiid or Porzingis. Well, I guess you could say Porzingis is, whatever. But you bring in a guy like Jaren Jackson, and I like him for this team only because of the fact that he knows how to move, just like Bobby Portis. And when you have a lineup, let's say you can break out a lineup with Portis playing the 5 and Jaren Jackson playing the 4. Jaren Jackson has a really good outside shot between the 16 and 20 feet. He also can hit that baseline jumper as well. You move Bobby Portis closer to the rim because he's really a much, much better rebounder. Not saying Jaren Jackson can't crash the boards, because he can. He can bang too, though. Get a little foul trouble too. But he can bang. But Jaren Jackson can also hit that outside jumper. Bobby Portis can too, though, but I'd rather have Bobby Portis under the rim, hustling, banging, getting 8 to 10 rebounds like he usually does. Make him do what he does best. But I think the underlying skill of these two guys right here is how they move when the slasher comes in. Chris Dunn is a slasher. Zach LaVine is a slasher. These guys know how to make themselves available when the guard is slashing to the hoop. They got really good hands and they can finish. Now just think, you got two big men who can give you lanes, who can give you outlets to score. Those are easy baskets, and those are hard to come by in the NBA. And now you got 2 of these guys. I think number 7, Chicago, I almost said Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bulls should go after Michigan State's Jaren Jackson Jr. I like this pick. Number 8, the Cleveland Cavaliers. First of all, the Cleveland Cavaliers should operate just like in 2010. They should operate. Well, I guess in 2010 they weren't prepared. But now they are. They got a whole new GM. They should operate as if LeBron isn't coming back. That's just my thing. Because if you hang on ifs, you're going to end up like the Mavericks and end up with dreams of getting DeAndre Jordan, who technically they had. Ended up with JaVale McGee. Cleveland should just be like, you know what? We lost Kyrie. Let's replace Kyrie. Colin Sexton out of Alabama. Very good defensive. Very good, scrappy defensive. And he also can create his own shots. Great slasher. Score first. I guess it ain't the style per se. He's not going to have 8, 9 assists all the time. But he will give you 18 points. You know what I'm saying? Probably give you about 6 or 7 rebounds just off of hustle alone. But that defense that he plays, because, Avery Johnson, former Mavericks coach and former player for Greg Popovich, and he also played for the Mavericks as well. He preaches defense. Defense, defense, defense. You play defense before you play offense. And Colin Sexton, to me, is a very defensive player. And if you were to keep some of the guys that's still on that roster, Jordan Clarkson, who's capable of playing defense. Larry Nance is a capable shot blocker, in my opinion. You don't have hops like that and not play defense. I don't know why he doesn't average as many blocks as he does. I don't know. But Colin Sexton for the Cleveland Cavaliers is a perfect pick because he's a defensive guard. They need defense. They need someone who can slash the rim and create his own shot. And just create a whole different culture. Because if LeBron leaves, what do you have left? He also a guy that can find an open guy every now and then. And you do have every now and then type of big man. Tristan Thompson. You got Larry Nance. You got guys who can just become available when they need to. So I think a good start, a good fresh start, life after LeBron, Colin Sexton, you got to. Some people say, you know what? Go trade up for Michael Porter. No, don't do it. Or trade up to get Trae Young. If you're able to trade up to get Trae Young, I say go for it. Maybe number 5 for the Mavericks. Maybe. Maybe Mo Bamba falls to number 8. You pick Mo Bamba, they pick Trae Young, switch. That would be a good trade. You won't be giving away too much. You probably have to give up, next year. Well, I guess not next year's first, because LeBron leaves, which means you will be crappy this season, which means that pick will be a very high pick. A nice protected, top 10 protected pick, or you might trade, Jordan Clarkson, because the Mavericks have $23 million available. They might, just sweeten the deal a little bit. Move up to number 5 or, number 4. Get Trae Young, But, if you stay put, Trae Young has already been selected to the Magic. You have to go Colin Sexton. You have to. Number 9. The New York Knicks. The experiment with Courtney Lee. Courtney Lee is a very solid player. Point guard, you have your point guard of the future, in my opinion. He hasn't played a lot, but he's going to play much, much more. You need a guy. You need a guard. You need a physical guard, and you need a guard who's going to run, who's going to be gritty, who's going to give you that toughness on defense, and can also shoot the outside shot. Lonnie Walker of Miami, and that Miami squad, they had a 1-2 punch going over there, man, and I like them. You got to get Lonnie Walker if you're the Knicks. That Porzingis is going to come back. It'll take a little pressure off of him. Kyle O'Quinn has opted out. You got Enes Kanter for 1 more year. Get Lonnie Walker. That's all I got to say. Number 10, Philadelphia 76ers. I got them picking Aaron Holiday. You already had his brother. Drew. But I feel like you're the Sixers. All these point guards, Trae Young is gone. Colin Sexton is gone. You have to go get the next best guard available. Markelle Fultz, depending on how you feel about him, maybe you're not as high on him as you thought. You go get another point guard. You did it with centers. You might as well do the same thing with point guards. Go get Aaron Holiday out of UCLA, and they probably got to, if it don't work, probably go to another one. All right, so the 6 through 10, Orlando, Chicago, Cleveland, New York, and Philly. Mo Bamba ends up going to Orlando, which, if you really think about it, in my mock draft, 5 and 6 were flipped. So Dallas ended up taking Trae Young, so they take Mo Bamba, which would mean signs of things that come with Vucevic. Now, the teams that are interested in Vucevic is Dallas, and probably a host of other teams, only because Vucevic's expiring contract is very attractive. And if you're going to draft a guy like Mo Bamba, that makes Vucevic expendable. To me, Vucevic, his style is a dying asset. He's a big guy. He can move, develop a three-point shot. And so Mo Bamba, I guess, is Orlando getting with the program, so to speak. So Orlando, Trae Young is off the board, so they go with the next player available, Mo Bamba. Chicago, who I thought was going to get Jaren Jackson, they go with Wendell Carter, who I thought was going number 29. And the analysis I had on Wendell Carter Jr. was, if he's next to a guy, if he's out there by himself as the shot blocker, there are guys out there who think that he's a really good shot blocker. I don't think so. But they got Robin Lopez out there. They got Bobby Portis out there. So him being next to them, I'm cool with that. And he does have nice hands. He can shoot. I think that's a good situation for him. Standing out there next to Felicio, Robin Lopez, Bobby Portis, I'm cool with that. Number 8, went as expected. Cleveland goes with Colin Sexton. To be quite honest, what other option would you go? Unless Trae Young drops this low. But, this was a no-brainer for me, man. And I'm glad I got this right on the button. Number 9, New York ended up going Kevin Knox instead of Lonnie Walker. So, hey, I was right. They went with a wing. So, I'll take that. I had Kevin Knox going number 12 to the Clippers. So, hey, not too far. And number 10, Philly goes with Mikal Bridges, who I thought was going number 4. So, and then as I was listening to the draft, hey, everybody was talking about how he's slipping. And, they talk about how great of a fit that was. So, and a quick nugget on Mikal Bridges, his mom works in HR at Philly. And I'm hearing that's where he's from. But minutes later, he gets traded to Phoenix. So he's going to Phoenix now. So yeah, it's fucked up, right? And I had Aaron Holiday going to Philly. Aaron Holiday ended up going number 23. So yeah, there goes your top 10. I guess the only surprise will be the Wendell Carter Jr. Pick by Chicago. But hey, I got the position right though, right? The Chicago going after a 4, so they go get a 4. So so far, the only teams that kind of went against position wise will probably be 3, 4, and 5. I thought Atlanta was gonna go big. They went with wing. Well, technically guard, because they ended up trading for Trae Young. I thought Memphis was gonna go guard. They went big. I thought Dallas was gonna go big. They went wing. And as far as 6 through 10, I thought Atlanta was go get guard, but they got the next player available. I kid you not, if Trae Young would have fell to number 6, they was going to get him. They ended up going big. Chicago went exactly where I thought. They went with big. Cleveland went with exactly what I thought with big, with guard. New York went exactly what I thought with wing, and Philly went with guard as expected. Now 11 through 15. Number 11, the Charlotte Hornets, who just traded Dwight Howard to the Brooklyn Nets for Timofey Mozgov in season 8 of Saturday Night Live. They should go ahead and and this will be a run on point guards. First of all, let me just say this, and I hate to say it. The NFL, the draft has evolved into, the devalue of the center position, the devalue of the traditional power forwards as centers. So you will see a lot of 1s, 2s, 3s. People don't value 4s and 5s like they used to. So guys like Jaren Jackson, Mo Bamba, Marvin Bagley, DeAndre Ayton, these are guys that's skillful as fuck. Almost like, I can't say like the running back position in the NFL, because there was a few guys that got picked in the first round last year. Leonard Fournette turned out good. Derrick Henry turned out good. Barkley will turn out good just based off sheer volume. But you're going to see a lot of guys, especially 1s and 2s now, because if you could slash, that's an automatic 15. Ask Dennis Smith Jr. He can't shoot for crap, but average 15. So you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a big run on point guards, shooting guards, and for the most part, power forwards who can play the 3, or 3s that might end up playing the 4. So Charlotte Hornets, they got to go with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out of Kentucky. Just a guy that really fits the mold. Steve Clifford isn't there anymore, so I don't know what direction they're going into. You just traded Dwight Howard, and a thing that Arnisha Derrick's, fellow expert for the Picks crew, that team might be looking to rebuild. I mean, you just unloaded Dwight Howard, who was an expiring contract, which is way more valuable than acquiring a guy like Timofey Mozgov, who was on the hook for another 2 years. Like, you tell me, what sense does that make? I mean, I get it. You save $8 million, in salary for next year, but you get to wipe your hands clean after next year. Go ahead and take that one more year. You don't do that unless you're starting out fresh. And you don't start out fresh with taking on a guy with a couple more years in his contract. I mean, I don't get it, man. But I think if you let Howard go, you got to let Kemba go, which will open up a point guard spot. So now you got to go Gilgeous Alexander. I guess is how you pronounce it. Number 12, the LA Clippers. And this is one of two spots. I think with the LA Clippers, you have to address the wing position. And while we're at it, number 12 and 13, we might as well just go ahead and do 2 for 1 right here. The wing positions. You go get a defensive, you go get a 3-and-D guy, and Kevin Knox, also out of Kentucky, and you go get a pure shooter. And I feel like, and I'm so proud of this guy, Grayson Allen, I feel like has repaired his image enough to where people won't poo-poo on this pick. If he would have came into the draft last year, they would have been like, you crazy son of a bitch, Doc. I think, and of course, his son went to Duke, so he got to pick a Duke guy. His brat son, Austin, is probably like, Dad, it'd be so great, Dad. He was like, hey, what, son? You know how Doc be talking. Hey, what, son? I think you should pick my best friend, Grayson Allen. We didn't go at the same time, but, he's a Duke guy. I'm a Duke guy. We can be friends. We have a slumber party. Okay, man. I'm going to pick Grayson Allen, but I'm going to pick my guy first. Okay, Dad, deal. Now go clean your room. You know what I'm saying? So, but, all jokes aside, Grayson Allen to me, and I was watching him, he's, despite all of the antics he did, the kitty tantrums and shit, whatever you want to call it, he's a good shooter. He's a smart player. And he's going into a situation with Doc Rivers, who's a guy who could teach you some shit outside of basketball. And, he has, he's perfect for him. Go to a guy like Doc Rivers who will sit you down, tell you what you need to hear instead of what you want to hear. And then on top of that, he can shoot. That'd be a perfect situation for Grayson Allen. You go from a disciplinarian, Coach K, to another disciplinarian. And, Doc Rivers, he showed that, these Duke players, they thrive under him. J.J. Redick, Austin Rivers, I think Grant Hill played for him. I don't know. But that'd be the perfect situation for Grayson Allen. So 12 and 13, the LA Clippers. I think Kevin Knox out of Kentucky. And then with the 13th pick, I predict Grayson Allen out of Duke. 14, the Denver Nuggets. Miles Bridges out of Michigan State. Another team who I feel like needs to address their wing position. You got, I don't know if you consider Will Barton a small forward. He's 6'5", but sometimes they do play him at that 3 spot. You need another guy that'll do some dirty work for you and also can shoot. Wilson Chandler, you can go so long with him, but you need to replace him. Miles Bridges is a guy that you replace him with. Miles Bridges, I didn't grade him too high, but he's a guy that fits the mold. I've graded him an 86, the second best small forward on the list. I think Michael Bridges is his brother. So those are the two guys that, small forward isn't the most strongest position in this draft, but if you need one, you got to go get one. I think there are number 3 guys in this draft, 3 small forwards in this draft that I think are legit. And that's the 2 Bridges and Michael Porter Jr., who I feel like, if this injury, if I didn't feel iffy about this injury, he'll be much, much, much higher. So the Nuggets, you got to go with Miles Bridges. 15, the Washington Wizards. I love this guy. They need another front court guy. They need a guy, because Gortat, he can't do all that himself. Jason Smith, I don't know if he's still there or not. Mahimi, he's iffy. Gortat is pretty much the only consistent guy. Chris McCullough, he's just not good enough. You go get a guy who's going to get it for you, and it's similar to Gortat. Gortat, he's not asked to do much. Mo Wagner out of Michigan. I love this guy. He hustles. He does the dirty work. He does exactly what Marcin Gortat does, but he can actually shoot an outside jumper. Gortat, he can shoot that top of the key jumper and that elbow jumper, but Mo Wagner, he can shoot the whole mid-range. And also, he has good hands. I think this will be the perfect pick for the Wizards, man. You got Bradley Beal, who, he can do it all, inside and out. John Wall, great distributor. Mo Wagner, really big body, and destroys people on the pick and roll. Destroys mofos on that pick and roll. And you get these two mofos on the court, Wagner and the Polish Hammer. I say John Wall averages 11 assists. Or, he already averages 11 assists. I guess he could. But Mo Wagner, to me, is perfect for this team, man. Moves out of Porter a little bit more further out because they got shooters everywhere. Mo Wagner is another shooter at the mid-range portion. If you ask him to shoot the three, I think he can. I think he could probably shoot that three, probably at a 38% clip, which is really good because that's how much, Brook Lopez shoots. But he has where he's valued, if he plays center, which I think he can because he's big enough to do it. I think he weighed like 260, 270. He'll get you 12 rebounds. Easy. Just off of sure technique. To me, he's one of the more technically sound guys in this draft in regards to rebounding. Mo Wagner to the Wizards at number 15. All right, looking at the picks from 11 through 15, as expected, pretty much across the board, except for probably number 13 and number 15. Everybody went with pretty much the position that I expected. 11 went exactly as planned. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes to Charlotte, which was traded to the Clippers. They flip-flop number 11, number 12. Clippers end up getting Miles Bridges, who I had him going 14. So not too far away. I did kind of good. I kind of thought that the Clippers was going to go with Kevin Knox, but hey, pretty much same position. Clippers end up getting Jerome Robinson. I didn't even grade that guy, and a lot of people were like, they reached for him. But he's a good scorer though, out of Boston College. And no argument there. And number 14, that's where I thought Denver was going to get Miles Bridges, and this is where Michael Porter Jr. fell to. Now, in regards to Denver, if injury was a risk, I think this is a good spot to pick up a guy like Michael Porter Jr. And if he doesn't work out, then hey, you're not in the top 5 and pick the guy who's on injury risk. I think this is a good area for Michael Porter Jr. if you're iffy about him, and you won't get criticized too much for if he doesn't work out. But if he works out, if he is the Michael Porter Jr. that everybody thinks he is, this was a steal right here. But I guess for the grade that I gave him, this is a good spot for him. So good for Denver for picking Michael Porter Jr. in this spot. 15, Washington goes to Troy Brown. I thought they was going to go with Mo Wagner. I didn't grade Troy Brown, so I don't have much to say about the guy. So let's go ahead and move on to 16 and 20. Right after this break, you're listening to the Chris Rocket post-draft and pre-draft consolidation podcast.
You've accidentally killed a family of 4. We all know these things happen. You need to get out of jail to beat the shit out of your old lady for getting you into this mess in the first place. But you need money for bail. That's where we come in at Jay's Bail Bonds. We're your new friend. We're here in your time of need. But skip town on us and we'll hunt you down like the vermin you are. You may be in a lot of trouble with the law, but now you're in debt to an angry, unregulated lunatic who will be happy to take a shit on the Constitution to get their money back. Contact Jay's Bail Bonds today.
Hi, I'm Jock Cranley, former Vinewood stuntman, actor, and now highly qualified candidate for governor. I hate immigrants, the crippled. I can't stand unions, cops, old ladies. The thing is, at least you know I'm a dick. My opponent, Sue Murray, is a know-it-all shrew who actually thinks helping people is the best way to help people. Listen, I've base jumped off skyscrapers. I understand the intricacies of city planning. We've cared about people for far too long. I'm not extending a helping hand. I'm giving you all the finger. Vote for me, Jock Cranley, and help yourselves.
This message paid for by Jock Cranley for governor.
Welcome back to the Chris Rocket Podcast Special NBA Draft Edition, pre and post game consolidation. Like I said, this podcast is presented to you by Matic SAQ. Information is right there. Go check it out. Lots of different things you work on. You want to work on your legs. You want to work on your conditioning. You want to work on any type of skill. And I think for this type of workout, it's not just about football. I think all of the sports are connected in some kind of way. Full work is essential for any sport that you play, even golf, even bowling, even football, basketball, hockey. No matter what, you're gonna need these essential techniques to get your game to the next level, to whatever level you want to get it to. Go check out my bro, Matic Fitness. Go to Facebook, go like the page, Matic SAQ. The information is right there. They'll go to workout times, the location. Give them a call, set it up. Go ahead and get better, get to the next level, be a different animal and the same beast at the same time, as what Kobe would say, Matic SAQ. Now let's go ahead and hop into the second half of this first round draft. We're gonna start with the number 16 through 20. Welcome back to the Chris Rocket Podcast. Like I said, this podcast is sponsored by Matic SAQ. No matter how old you are, youth, middle school, high school, grown, you want to get your technique right. You want to get everything up to par for this season, next season, or any seasons to come. Or if you're coming off injuries, man, make sure you check out Matic SAQ on Facebook. Make sure you go ahead and get right with my bro. Going on the field, on hands-on, training. He would, teach you exactly what you need to do to get back on the field, get better every day. If you're a wide receiver, quarterback, tight end, O-line, D-line, point guard, whatever. Or you might not even want to play sports, man. You just want to look right for the summer. You want to look right for your girl. You want to look right for your man. Get in the greatest position, great fitness position in your life. Go and check out the system at Matic SAQ. Information is right there. Go check him out and go on Facebook, like the page Matic SAQ. Check out the techniques. Check out the video. It's right there. He posts weekly, probably daily. I don't want to say daily, but he posts a lot of videos. Go check out the videos. See if that's right for you. Matic SAQ. Now, pick 16 through 30. We move to the number 16, Phoenix's second first round pick. And this is where I see them picking Luka Doncic. Because first of all, they showed their hand by, no shit. What a coincidence that his old coach is actually the coach for the Phoenix Suns. Like, isn't that a dead ass giveaway? So, and I've heard rumors that the Hawks at number 3 is going to go out to Luka Doncic, which I think is stupid. Why? He clearly says that he doesn't want to play for any other team, and that's with these these European guys. First of all, I don't blame them. I don't blame the European guys for picking where they want to go. They're coming in a country where they don't know. They got to be comfortable. Dirk Nowitzki says that he wasn't ready for the NBA. And if it wasn't for Don Nelson making him feel comfortable, and then bringing in a guy like Steve Nash, who was also from another country. I don't know if you count Canada, I guess technically that's another country. But if it wasn't for Steve Nash making him comfortable, he probably wouldn't have been what he is today. So if I'm the Hawks, I stay away from Luka Doncic. But at number 16, Phoenix gets lucky. I guess I don't want to say lucky. And they pick Luka Doncic. Nothing more said. Number 17, the Milwaukee Bucks. And this guy right here, he's not on a lot of people's radar. I say the Milwaukee Bucks picks point guard Javon Carter out of West Virginia. This guy is a defensive nightmare. He's Patrick Beverley with better technique. Patrick Beverley, he's a guy that's just going to nag you to death. He's going to make you mentally make mistakes. Javon Carter, he is Gary Payton 2.0. I've seen him pick pockets like clean. Like these weren't even mistakes. He just simply just picked the pocket clean. Led the NCAA in steals, led the steals average, and life after Jason Kidd, man. The Milwaukee Bucks, they need defense. Malcolm Brogdon is a very smart point guard, but you need a guy that's going to play on-ball defense. I think Brogdon drops the ball when it comes to defense. Good offensively, very smart, but they need a guy that's going to be in your face. And this whole league is built on offensive point guards. You need a guy who's going to guard John Wall, guard Bradley Beal, guard Kyle Lowry, guard Kyrie Irving, Terry Rozier, Ben Simmons if you have to. Javon Carter. That's the guy right there. Number 18, the San Antonio Spurs. I think the perfect pick, and it fell into their laps. They did DeJounte Murray a couple years ago. They did Derek White last year, and it happens again this year. Gary Trent Jr. out of Duke. This guy, smart. His dad played in the NBA, played for the Timberwolves, played for the Mavericks. This guy has a good pedigree, has a really good head on his shoulders, real good character guy, and it just fits what Pop is looking for. And I feel like this guy, he could be something, man. He could be like a Brandon Roy type of player. And who else to bring that out than Greg Popovich, Gary Trent Jr. to the San Antonio Spurs? I love this pick. And here goes the second Atlanta pick. At 19, I think they go Bruce Brown Jr. The second half of that Miami two-headed monsters, very athletic mofo, man. This guy right here can fucking fly. And if everything goes exactly as planned, the Atlanta Hawks will have Dennis Schroeder, Bruce Brown, Kent Bazemore, Jaren Jackson. Not Jaren Jackson. Marvin Bagley, and Josh Collins. Look at that killer-ass lineup. It make Kent Bazemore look like a senior citizen, don't it? That would be a very exciting lineup for just so much athleticism. John Collins can fly. Marvin Bagley can fly. Bruce Brown Jr. can fly. Dennis Schroeder can fly. That'll be a nice, good-ass young team that, creates a really good foundation. You let them grow a few years, man, they could be a playoff team within 2 or 3 years. I think Atlanta should go Bruce Brown Jr. Number 20, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And as I said before, the small forward position is like, this is a down year for the small forward position. But I think the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think Andrew Wiggins is on his way out. I feel that way. Yeah, he signed an extension, a while back, but they need a guy, if Wiggins stays, Shabazz Muhammad, he left. They need a guy who's going to fill in some scoring, who's going to play some defense. Hamidou Diallo out of Kentucky, he's going to fill that role. And if they do decide to let go of Andrew Wiggins some way, somehow, he could slip in. He could play the 2. He could play the 3. Jimmy Butler, they can switch one or the other. Hamidou Diallo, he reminds me of Ronnie Brewer from the Bulls back in the day. Very dependable, plays defense. Real big guy, real versatile guy. I think Ronnie Brewer was like 6'8", but he could shoot. Well, he ended up becoming a shooter, but he was a guy that he was just available, just like Courtney Lee is, but Courtney Lee is a much better shooter. But Ronnie Brewer, to me, is the most accurate description of a guy like Hamidou Diallo. I think 20, if they stay put right there, I think they... All right, number 16, Phoenix ended up going with Zaire Smith, which was traded to Charlotte for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 17-month. Milwaukee goes with DiVincenzo. San Antonio goes with Lonnie Walker. Atlanta goes with Kevin Huerter. And Minnesota goes with Josh Okogie. Pretty much everybody went with the position, with the exception of Milwaukee. Everybody went with the position I thought they were going to go with. I can't really argue with none of these right here. Obviously, Herder and Okogie, and Zaire Smith, I couldn't find a video of him. But I kind of thought Phoenix was going to go with Luka Doncic. Like I said earlier, only because I thought that that was on the team that he'll play for, because his old coach is on the staff with, or I guess the head coach for Phoenix. But now we're in a position where Bruce Brown is dropping, Grayson Allen's dropping. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of good quality players are pretty much dropping. But San Antonio, Lonnie Walker, the fourth, kind of thought he was going to go number 9. So this is a real good value pick for them. And really smart kid, man. As I'm listening to the NBA draft, man, you get to find different tidbits and different, things about these guys. Lonnie Walker's a very intelligent guy. Garrett Trent Jr. as well, but Lonnie Walker, real bright kid, and he's going to fit in well with San Antonio. And I guess don't read too much into that. Lonnie Walker's a small forward. A shooting guard. Kawhi is a small forward, so don't look too much into that. 21 to 25. 21. The Utah Jazz. They should go get the big man out of Texas A&M, Robert Williams. Let's be real. Derek Favors, he cannot stay on. He can't seem to stay on the court. It seems like every year he gets hurt, misses 20 games. Go get a guy like Robert Williams. They tried with Jeff Whitney, didn't work. They tried a few guys. Trey Lyles. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the fuck happened to Trey Lyles. Go get a guy like Robert Williams, who is a staple. He's a guy that reminds me of Rasheed Wallace a little bit. I know I said that about A.J. Hammonds, but A.J. Hammonds ain't with the Mavericks no more. He's with the Heat. But Robert Williams, to me, is like a Rasheed Wallace. Can shoot, can pass, can defend. He won't be asked to defend on the Utah Jazz, but you put him on there with a guy like Quinn Snyder. Rudy Gobert wouldn't have to play a lot of minutes. Rudy Gobert could play a good solid 30 to 32 minutes, save a lot of his energy, be really fresh really fresh when he comes in. Robert Williams comes in, give you a good 20 to 25 minutes, real good basketball, 8 to 10 rebounds, easy. You go get a guy like Robert Williams. Do away with Derek Favors. Derek Favors isn't, reliable for 50 to 60 games. Get a guy like Robert Williams, gives Derek Favors some time on the bench, 15 to 20 minutes. If you do feel like Derek Favors can give you 70 games, then Robert Williams becomes a plus. Now you can play Favors at the 5 and Robert Williams at the 4, or vice versa. You got big bodies down low. Favors can hit that outside jumper. Robert Williams can stay down low, get you some rebounds, bang down low. Utah, you should go after Robert Williams. 22. Chicago Bulls. They should go ahead and get another goon. Keita Bates-Diop. That's a guy that's another, and I wish Thibodeau was still there, because he would have been perfect with him. This will be another guy to plug in right next to Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine. I think those two guys, as a matter of fact, if they ain't locked in Zach LaVine now, who I felt like showed us that he could play life after ACL. Lock them two in. You bring in your guy, your Nicholas Batum, so to speak, or your Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, so to speak, because that's exactly what Diop is out of Ohio State. Now you have, because you drafted Jaren Jackson Jr., according to my mock draft. Go get Diop out of Ohio State. Now you have a defensive nightmare right there. Those pick and rolls, you can switch now. You can't switch now with the roster is now, because, first of all, who's playing the 3 now? Oh, you can't answer that question? Cool. Well, go get Diop. Now you can switch. Now when Portis is up, you can switch with Portis. Portis, he's quick enough to guard the twos and the threes. Jaren Jackson, he's quick enough to guard twos and threes as well. And Jock, he can bang with those fours on the switch. So, and of course, with the way the league is going now, they got threes playing fours now. Draymond Green is 6'7", 235, 240. You can switch now. Now with the thing about Chicago, they're gonna need a lot more offense. I don't think Jock will give you a lot of offense, but he would get you those easy baskets, probably 8 to 10 points a game. So 22, I think that's just not thinking about it. Who picks based off defense anyway? But I don't know. I think that's a good pick for them. So 22, Chicago Bulls should go after Keita, Bates, Jock out of Ohio State. 23, the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers should select Jalen Brunson out of Villanova. Point guard wise for the Indiana Pacers, it's always been solid. Going back to Jamal Tinsley, going back to Mark Jackson, it's always been solid. Always been solid enough. You had Monte Ellis, solid. Who was that? Darren Collison, solid. And this would be yet another solid pick. Lance Stevenson, solid. This would be yet another solid ass point guard for them. Smart, championship pedigree, knows how to win. And then you get him along with a guy like Miles Turner, Al Jefferson if they bring him back. Thaddeus Young is there. You put him on that team with guys like that, guys that know how to play the game, high IQ. You get a guy like Jalen Brunson, man, another solid pacer type of player. I think that would be the perfect pacer pick at 23. Jalen Brunson, point guard, Villanova. 24. The Portland Trailblazers. I think they should go wing, even though they got like 9. They got more wingers than Pizza Hut. CJ McCollum, Evan Turner. I don't know if Mo Harkless is still there. Who else is over there? They got probably 4 or 5 wings over there. Al-Farouq Aminu, I don't care what you say. That dude is a small forward. He is not a power forward. He's a small forward that can run and got some fucked up hair. You go get a guy like Jacob Evans who can shoot, who can defend, who's not on a lot of people's radar. You go get a guy like Jacob Evans in that small forward position, you might be reaching just a little bit. But if you want a guy, because Evan Turner's expensive, it allows you to trade Evan Turner at the trade deadline because eventually Jacob Evans is going to show you how good he is. Go get Jacob Evans at number 24, Portland Trailblazers. 25, the LA Lakers. This pick is interesting. This is if they keep it. They go to point guard. Yes, point guard. Tyus Battle out of Syracuse, which is almost like Johnny Flynn 2.0. Now, the interesting thing about this pick, because it might involve a Kawhi Leonard trade, but see, here's the thing about that trade, and I stated this back in the Instagram video. If the Lakers were to trade for Kawhi Leonard, the trade cannot be official until July the 1st. Well, I guess technically July the 6th. No, I guess technically July 1st, because then that means anybody's, Brooke Lopez's contract, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's contract, anybody that's on an expiring contract during the 2017-2018 season, that contract is officially up July 1st, which means at that time, and only that time, you can make a trade such as that. Now, you can make a trade now and be like, such and such and such for such and such and cash. You can make that trade now. But if I'm the Spurs, or I guess for the Spurs' sake, you want that trade. If I'm the Lakers, I would want that trade with cash because then that essentially evens up the trade. You know what I'm saying? You want that trade exception. That trade exception is very valuable for later because then you can make another lopsided trade because of that trade exception. But nonetheless, that trade cannot be official until July the 1st, which means this 25th pick will be picked by the Los Angeles Lakers. And if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers, and if I'm any fan of the Los Angeles Lakers, I'm paying close attention to this pick right here because this pick, 99 out of 100, is going to be in that trade. So I say point guard, which would means maybe Lonzo Ball is in that trade to the LA Lakers. First of all, let me say this. This is a totally different podcast because I'm going to do a different podcast for free agency next Saturday because next Saturday is the 30th. If I'm Greg Popovich or, I forgot his name right off the top of my head, the GM for the Spurs, I wouldn't want to trade within my conference. I'm sorry. That's like, I'm trading something for you to whoop my ass with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it. Like the NFL, that stuff is frowned upon. Like you don't trade within your own division. With the NBA, you don't trade within your own conference. Like if I'm the Spurs, even though they do have the best offer on the table, you can, however, trade with you can trade with the Celtics and get pretty much the same kind of, get back. You can go get Terry Rozier. You could go get. I don't think they'll put in Jason Tatum. Even though if I'm the Spurs, I want Jason Tatum. But then again, you'll be. Well, I guess no matter what trade you would do, you'll be giving up a lot of defense. But you got the Celtics you can trade with. I wouldn't want to do a trade with the Lakers. But we're going to do it as if they're staying put. 25, I think the Lakers will go highest battle. Even with Lonzo Ball. Because Isaiah Thomas was on an expiring contract. He'll be a free agent. I doubt they bring him back. So they got to fill in a hole. Tyus Battle fills that hole. Yeah, Utah goes with Grayson Allen, which I felt like is a really good pick. The pick that I had Grayson Allen going to was the Clippers. Doc is a disciplinarian. Quinn Snyder is also a really good fit for him as well. Same kind of culture out there. Utah, they preach defense, they preach team. So Grayson Allen, really good addition to the Utah Jazz. And also Quinn Snyder is a Duke guy as well, way back in the 80s. So real good fit for him. Chicago goes with Chandler Hudson, a big guy. Aaron Holiday goes to the Indiana Pacers, real good pick for them. Portland gets Anthony Simmons. And the Lakers ended up going with Mo Wagner, which is interesting, with the old Brook Lopez's expiring contract. You got Julius Randle, a restricted free agent, which I don't know, they might let him walk. So you get some insurance with Mo Wagner, and I get it. I thought Robert Williams was going to go to Utah. He's falling. He's still on the board now. Jock, Brunson, Evans, and Battle rounded up my 5 picks for this particular interval right here. So you got quality players still on the board, and we're heading to the 26th pick. So out of this group, Grayson Allen and Aaron Holiday, real good additions to those squads. And also the Lakers get Mo Wagner, real good value, big guy, replaces Brook Lopez, gives you insurance just in case Randall doesn't come back. So I like it. Number 26, the Philadelphia 76ers again. And as we stated before, they picked Aaron Holiday at point guard. So now, JJ Redick is going to be a free agent. I don't know if he comes back. It'll be great if he comes back. So you go get another Villanova player, a good shooter, and also a very athletic. Well, I ain't gonna say very athletic, a very sneaky athletic guy, kind of like Chandler Parsons. Dante DiVincenzo out of Villanova. Can shoot. He's almost like Simba, Justin Anderson. He's almost just like him, but without the defense. He will shoot that shot every now and then, to shoot the three-point shot, reliable enough to give it to him. But he will give you that dirty work. He will take charges. He's pretty much perfect. He's a Brett Brown kind of guy. But he also fills in a role that will be left if JJ Redick was to go out and go elsewhere. Probably follow LeBron somewhere. JJ Redick was paid $25 million last year. So, JJ wants to get paid. You paid Embiid. JJ wants his money. I don't think y'all go get JJ $25 million again. So you might as well go ahead and draft, DiVincenzo out of Villanova. Perfect pick for them. Number 27, the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics select Landry Shamet out of Wichita State. And this is only because, and by the way, he's a point guard. Only because Marcus Smart is going to be a free agent. Sorry about that. Marcus Smart is going to be a free agent, and they tried to trade Marcus Smart. They've been trying to trade Marcus Smart for the past 2 years. So you got to kind of imagine. And they also, Terry Rozier is going to be a free agent, a restricted free agent. Both of them going to be restricted free agents. So you got to kind of ask yourself, who are they going to pick? Marcus Smart or Terry Rozier? Or both? Because, under the CBA, you can't go over the cap to sign back your own guys. But it's that luxury tax that they got to worry about. Who they're going to pick? Rozier or Marcus Smart? They're going to pick Marcus Smart. Of course, they're going to offer him they're going to give him an offer sheet. Of course. But ultimately, they're going to go with Rozier for the foreseeable future. If I'm Boston, I'm going to sign and trade Marcus Smart somewhere. Because they tried to trade for him 2 times in a row. And to cover your ass on that, Landry Shamet out of Wichita State, which is almost the exact copy of Marcus Smart, except Marcus Smart is much, much bigger. It'll fill in perfectly without a hitch. Landry Shamet out of Wichita State, point guard for the Boston Celtics. Number 28, the Golden State Warriors. I feel like this is a throwaway pick because, what do the Golden State Warriors need anyway? So what do you do? What kind of throwaway pick do you have? You go get a foreigner that can shoot. They tried Omri Caspi. He doesn't play a lot. You saw what happened when, Iguodala got hurt. There are times in the playoffs where the shooters, the shots weren't dropping. There were times where Clay struggled. There were times where Durant struggled. There were times where Curry struggled. And, they had to rely on guys like, Livingston, Nick Young, JaVale McGee, Jordan Bell at times. So you go get a good shooter, international shooter. This is probably one of 4 or 5 guys from overseas that I kind of really trusted. Plays small forward. Reminds me of a guy named, back in the day, you played for the Sonics, Vladimir Ratmanovic, but a better shooter and kind of shorter. Zanad Musa out of Bosnia, a good shooter, can develop into a great shooter if being around these guys at Golden State. I think that is a great addition. They shoot probably 43s a game. You let him shoot probably 6 or 7 threes, he's going to turn into a sniper. He's going to turn into another Jason Kapono type shooter, a Steve Novak type shooter, a Peja Stojakovic if I dare. That'll be the perfect one. Like I said, small forwards isn't as bad. This class is horrible when it comes to small forwards. But this is the Golden State Warriors we're talking about. They really don't need anything, so they can reach all the fuck they want to. This right here, this will be the perfect pick for them because they essentially don't need him. But when he's on, when everybody else is off, It looks great. So Xander Musa out of Bosnia, I like him going to the Golden State Warriors. Number 29, the Brooklyn Nets. Power forward Wendell Carter Jr. And this is before the Dwight Howard trade. This is essentially because I don't think they're going to retain Jahlil Okafor, because Jahlil Okafor is going to want a lot of money. If they do retain Jahlil Okafor, it's great. They get Wendell Carter. It's great. I feel like Wendell Carter, he's only best when there's already a physical big man available. If he's the only physical big man, and I'm just saying this is just out of comparison, if he's the only big man, then he's going to look horrible. If he's asked to do a lot, that team is not going to make it. I think a guy like Wendell Carter, he works best next to a guy like Vucevic, or next to a guy like Valanciunas, or next to a guy like Marc Gasol. The Brooklyn Nets, they have capable big men. Now Jared Allen, I think he was top 10 in block average. So that'll work. You don't ask him to block shots. Jared Allen's going to block shots. Just Wendell Carter, if he's just asked to rebound and not defend, perfect. That's why I got him for Brooklyn. He will be just for rebounding. If he's asked to shot block, you in fucking trouble. If he's your only big man on the floor, you might as well just go to the rim every fucking time. But for that particular team, you got Jared Allen right there. If they bring back Quincy Acy, who was an okay shot blocker for his size, 6'8", 6'9", can block some shots. Great. Just as long as he's standing next to a shot blocker, he's good. He's perfect. So I like him for the Brooklyn Nets. And finally, at the number 30 pick, the Houston Rockets select Devontae Graham out of Kansas. The uncertainty with Chris Paul. Chris Paul might leave. Chris Paul might stay. You have to opt, knowing how tight that team is, you will probably know already if he wants to stay or go. If they get Devontae Graham, that only means that maybe he takes minutes, off of Chris Paul's loads. B, Chris Paul doesn't come back. And I know that was a safe ass response, but if they do go point guard, I think Chris Paul is gone. Because there's no way. This team, I was actually rooting for them to beat Golden State because I can't stand Golden State. I can't stand Houston either, but I can't stand Golden State more. But Devontae Graham, he's almost like a Jameer Nelson type of guy. Can shoot it when it has to. Great distributor. And when you're playing on it, you're playing on a team like the Houston Rockets that like to run and kick out. He knows how to find different shooters. So that'd be the perfect situation for him. At number 30, you got the Houston Rockets going with Devontae Graham. Atlanta goes with point guard Landry Shamet out of Wichita State. Boston gets Robert Williams. Golden State goes with Jacob Evans. Brooklyn goes with the Bosnian shooter Xander Musa. And Atlanta goes with Amari Spellman. Boston got real good value in Robert Williams. Just a guy that just big and can bang down low. I had him going number 21 because I felt like Derek Favors was, on his way out. But Boston, it falls right into this lap. I think if you could trade away Al Horford, well, I guess Al Horford can do a little bit more. He can shoot on the outside. He can pass. Just it fits. He fits with everybody on that team. But Robert Williams isn't a bad, backup. If Horford is there, he could learn from Al Horford, pick up on a few of those traits that Horford has, and become that guy that you want. And if you look at that Boston squad with Kyrie, Gordon Hayward coming back, Rozier is young, Tatum obviously young, Marcus Smart, whether he stays or goes, that team is young and they're good. They might bring back Aaron Baines, they should, but bringing a guy like Robert Williams, man, You know, he's basically going to come in and just pick up the slack everywhere. He's just a good addition. Brooklyn ended up getting the Bosnian shooter, Zayn Musa. And this is a good spot for him. You know, the owner is Russian. So you get that, you already get that foreign kind of, you know, relationship going. They got a lot of guys, you know, over there that they're acculturated. Jeremy Lin is from, you know, Asia. You know, he's gonna feel comfortable over there. Just the whole lifestyle of the melting pot that is New York City. And then on top of that, you know, you're out of sight, out of mind on a team like Brooklyn. That's a team that's on a rebuild. You know, you get to find your way on that team. You know, they got a crop of young guys, Whitehead, you got Hollis Jefferson, you got D'Angelo Russell, you got Jahlil Okafor if they bring him back, you got Jared Allen, you bring in a guy like Musa who can shoot, and then you put him alongside a guy like DeMar Carroll, who's going to pretty much show him the ropes, you know, have him play a little bit defense. He's a little wiry guy though, but you know, you play him along guys like this, Jeremy Lin, you know, veterans like that. You know, they can show him the ropes a little bit. You know, take him under their wing, man. That's a real good situation for him in Atlanta, who's been doing a really good job in this draft, man. You know, and like I said, I was listening to the draft and the different analysis on players that I kind of don't know. Atlanta ended up getting shooters. Herter is actually a good shooter, I heard. Spellman is another good shooter, and then they got Trae Young. So Atlanta, for a team that's, you know, rebuilding and trying to find their way out there in that Eastern Conference, they got some shooters. They got a really good foundation to go along with the Josh Collins and Kent Bazemore, the veteran, Muscala if they bring them back. You know, they just Torian Prince. So they got themselves, they did a pretty good job in the draft. I think the Mavericks did better overall, maybe because I'm biased. So that rounds out the first round, man. I guess I shouldn't have to say that the ball kid didn't get drafted. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't know why he thought he was gonna get drafted. To be quite honest with you, I think it's better that he didn't get drafted, because now he can choose where he wants to go. You know, just looking at the glass half full though. And that's all I'm gonna say about that though. But I think overall, this first round, I predicted two trades in the top 5 and one between 6 and 15 or 6 and 10, one, something like that. And it ended up being exactly what I thought. Well, I guess technically it was one trade in the top 5, but it involved 2 teams. From 6 through 15, it was 2 trades. One with the Phoenix and Philadelphia 76ers at 10 and 16, and the other with the Clippers and the Charlotte Hornets at 11 and 12. So everything went as planned. Of course, I wasn't gonna get all the picks correct. You know, that it wouldn't be fun like that though. So looking at the board, I got 3 picks correctly on the dot. Well, technically 2, because everybody knew DeAndre Ayton was going to Phoenix. So I got 2 picks exactly on the head. The Colin Sexton pick and the Charlotte getting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Say what you want, he got traded, but he got picked at 11. I had him at 11. So a couple more picks. You know, they were off probably 1 or 2. Mo Bamba and Trae Young. You know, other players. Kevin Knox wasn't off. You know, went off by 4. Yeah, but this draft was very fun for me. Next year I'll probably be a little bit more sharper in finding a lot of these videos for these guys. But overall, I think it was a pretty good draft. Depending on, you know, in regards to teams getting their needs in positions. A lot of these teams, I'm reading a lot into it and how they're going to do free agency. Like the Lakers, I thought, you know, the Lakers were going to go point guard. They went with big man, so that's kind of interesting. Mavericks go wing. I thought they was going to go big man. So you might see them go hard after not necessarily signing a guy, but taking on a big contract like a Nikola Vucevic in Orlando, or DeAndre Jordan, who has a player option that he can opt into, and maybe the Mavericks send the player over there like minimal salary just to give the Clippers some cap relief. And come on, let's be real. The Clippers are rebuilding, and DeAndre is going to leave anyway. You might as well get something, or at least get cap relief, to go ahead and move on early. So the Mavericks, look for the Mavericks or teams like the Mavericks to take on these contracts because they need a specific position. They got teams out there who would love to take on Kent Bazemore's contract. Kent Bazemore is very valuable to a team like Philadelphia, or a team like Boston, or a team like Houston. That perimeter defender, and can also shoot the three. They call them 3D guys, but Bazemore is more of a slasher as well. But you're going to see a lot of that within the next couple weeks. Officially, July 1st is when you can actually talk to players. July 6th is when the trades actually become complete, because that's the time when you can actually sign these guys. So, pretty good draft, pretty swift draft, pretty crisp draft. Wasn't too much drama. It was exactly how I thought it was going to be. In regards to level of anxiety with my Mavericks, it was just pretty much like I was just shocked that we didn't go based on need, we went based on talent. And if the plan is we draft the guy who we wanted, that's what Mark Cuban said. Doncic was number one on their board. And if your plan is to go get Jordan or Vucevic, in a trade, then fine. You better hope the guy that you get him. Otherwise, I am going to bash you for this pick for probably the next 4 or 5 years. Because last year I did not like the Dennis Smith Jr. pick, but I lived with it because what can I do? But thank you guys for listening, man. This has been the NBA pre and post NBA draft 2018. Like I said, man, maybe next time I'll be a little bit more punctual in regards to the podcast. Make sure I get the pre-draft thing done in a timely manner. Next time, probably the day before, just to make sure. I'll try to do it the day of to be fresh on people's mind. But nonetheless, man, I enjoyed doing this, man. I always enjoy doing things like this, though. So the next podcast I do, it will be in regards to free agency and what I predict teams are going to get or what they're going to go after. This is my opinion. I don't listen to experts. I don't listen to nobody else. This is my opinion. So hope everybody have a good day. Thank you guys for listening. You have been listening to the Chris Rocket Special NBA Draft Podcast. Take care.